Hi guys, James Cleverly, the Home Secretary, was invited onto Times Radio podcast to speak about Nigel Farage and the prospect of him joining the Conservative Party. Farage has said that the Tories have lost their way. Richard Tice has called them socialists. One of Reform's mantras is that the Conservative Party is no longer conservative, it has abandoned its principles. Cleverly was asked if he thought Farage was an extremist using dog whistles, and he preferred to avoid talking about him. Have a listen.
He keeps standing up saying, I want to smash that all to bits and destroy it. And so you're asking, would I welcome him? Of course not. I mean, it's just... But as I say, that's not about him. It's just about anyone.
So what
it's
about...
just, why don't you ask me if I would embrace George Galloway into the party? I mean, it's just, it's he's not a member of my party. He doesn't share my party's interests, and he's been very explicit that he wants to destroy my party.
Do you think he's an extremist?
Look, I'm not... You know when I said I'm not going to spend the whole interview talking about him? This is me not going to spend the whole interview talking about him.
But there must have been a moment when he was talking about Rishi Sunak's patriotism when you thought that is just a dog whistle.
As I say, I know I'm meant to spend my whole time thinking about him. I'm actually not. And as I said, he has a talent for making people like you talk to people like me about him. And I'm not going to do that.
It's a bit late for that, because you guys created this monster. So I don't know in this interview if James Cleverly just doesn't want to give Nigel Farage oxygen. That's a possibility. He doesn't want to attack him because it might upset some Tory voters. Cleverly said here that Farage doesn't share Conservative interests. It's interesting that he didn't say values. But back to the main point, you created this problem. And we can... trace it back to a number of decades even, where the Conservatives thought, okay, let's use immigration as a tool to keep the Labour Party at bay. We can't run on the NHS, we can sometimes run on the economy, but immigration is our golden ticket. We can weaponise this against the Labour Party. And it has worked to a certain extent. But the problem with this is the Conservatives are not actually interested in dealing with immigration in the sense of creating safe routes for people to claim asylum. They're not interested in actually treating immigrants, asylum seekers like human beings. They're trying to weaponize this issue, and they have done it for a long time. But the problem with this is that it opened the door to people like Nigel Farage, to more extreme parties. Because they will say, well, we'll actually do a better job than the Conservatives. And the Conservatives, instead of moving back to the centre, instead of actually focusing on the cost of living crisis, what have they done? They've focused on immigration. Now, they've abandoned all of these things right up to the date of the election. But, now they're just attacking Labour. But when Rishi Sunak came in, there was an opportunity for him to reset everything. Start focusing on the cost of living crisis. Stop talking about immigration. Abandon this ridiculous Rwanda scheme. Invest money in public services. And this would have actually helped the Conservatives, because if they're not talking about immigration, if you're not focusing on that, which isn't a priority of the general public, the first priority is the cost of living crisis. If the Conservatives had actually focused on that, they wouldn't have to be talking about Nigel Farage today. But they try to weaponize this issue of immigration. They're not interested in actually dealing with it. They want to maintain it as a problem so they can present themselves as the solution to that problem. Don't vote for Labour because Labour are supporting open borders or whatever. But by taking this position on immigration, you open the door for someone more extreme. And Farage, who's very good at using the media to his advantage, has done that. Saying, I'll bring down immigration to net zero. I'll bring it down to zero. I'll stop the boats. I'll do all of these things. He's not going to do that, but he doesn't have to. All he has to do is promise to do it. And you can't deal with that because you're currently in power. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.